Hi, I am from UNC-Pembroke, which is in rural southeast North Carolina. So it's been a long trip up here, and I hope you'll bear with me because I think I'm still adjusting to the dry weather and my throat is killing me right now. So UNC-Pembroke, we sit at the crossroads of many different cultures. We're along the banks of the Lumber River, and our community is declared by the state of North Carolina a county in distress economically. We have some of the highest unemployment in the entire state of North Carolina, and our community is predominantly Native American, members of the Lumbee tribe, who are, while not federally recognized, are recognized by the state. So Pembroke is also pretty much the buckle of the Bible Belt. All of this, well, it is. The social life on campus isn't particularly Greek, it is campus ministry. And so I transferred into Pembroke thinking, well, this is great. I'm sure there are going to be lots of opportunities to get involved and to network and to build strong faith communities. And there are 8 campus ministries at UNC-Pembroke. 8. Every single one is conservative and evangelical. There's not a single mainline presence on campus of any denomination, much less the Episcopal or Lutheran churches. So being plunged into this environment and looking for a place to begin, a group of like-minded students pretty providentially started coming together. There were 1 or 2 Episcopalians. We found each other by the grace of God, well, actually through Facebook, and we decided we wanted to do something to try to change the conversation, and we didn't have a diocese behind us. We didn't have a parish behind us. The closest Episcopal and Lutheran churches are half an hour away, and hadn't really been interested in Pembroke. At the same time, there were a small group of Lutheran students who also, through the miracle of social networking, had found each other and began having meetings. We met, and we decided to come together and to do something. I think the institutional church sometimes is scared to plant ministry in places where it doesn't look like there's a possibility of success. But if we remember the parable of the sower, the seed sowed on rocky ground, the seed sowed on fertile ground, the seed sowed at the roadside, the seed is spread wastefully. So we came together and we said, we're going to do something to change the conversation on this campus. Even though we're students, even though we're not ordained, even though we don't have close ties to any of the local parishes. At the time, the local Episcopal Church didn't even have a priest. And East Carolina, of course, is in the process of now consecrating their next bishop. So, we didn't know if we'd have any resources or not. And we gathered together, kind of like the apostles in the upper room, at first with the doors locked and afraid. What are we going to do? So we got a table together for a student involvement fair. And people came up to us. And we said, we're Episcopal-Lutheran Campus Ministry. And they said, I have no idea what that means. Either they knew what an Episcopal or Lutheran was, or they knew something of what an Episcopal or a Lutheran was. And the ones who knew a little bit about it weren't happy. You're the church that doesn't believe in the Bible. You're that church that accepts LGBT people and treats them with dignity. You're that church that ordains women. You're that church that says it's okay to believe in science. We had several people from Crew come to our first meeting, good people, and we've made lots of friends with Campus Crusade for Christ, actually. And, some of the first questions they asked were, well, have you guys been born again? Are you guys saved? This is the kind of environment we're starting this ministry in, with originally no support at all from the institutional church. But once we got started, we began reaching out to the church, and the church took notice. This has been a purely student-led organization. We were lucky and blessed enough to have a Lutheran minister come half an hour down the road from Lumberton to celebrate the sacraments with us, to celebrate Eucharist. And we began inviting people to come along with us, knowing that, there probably weren't more than 5 to 10 Episcopalians and Lutherans on this campus. But we decided we did not want to be a traditional denominational campus ministry, a ministry for members of a particular denomination. We didn't want to be the campus ministry for Lutherans and for Episcopalians, which is why we changed our name to an acronym, because college students like acronyms. We went by ELM, Episcopal-Lutheran Ministry, and we presented ourselves as ELM, not as Episcopal-Lutheran Ministry. And people began coming in, and people began asking questions. We celebrated the Eucharist in our basically campus center, the university center, at a room upstairs, and we began inviting people. We began inviting people from GSA, the Gay Students and Allies, which I'm involved in. We began inviting people from the Secular Student Alliance to come and hang out with us. And one of the most beautiful occasions I remember is when there were a group of 5 rather committed anti-theists, you know, the really good Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens kind of guys, sitting up there with us, with a group representing the GSA, and with our small group, and a group of a bunch of people who were just kind of disaffected by the evangelical church around them. And we all celebrated communion together. And we all received communion together. People with a professed unbelief in God, I don't care if it's breaking the rules, they came to communion with us because we extended the invitation. And we said, all are welcome no matter where you are or what you believe. We wanted to create a progressive, safe space on campus where people from different backgrounds, where people from different belief systems, where people from no belief systems at all could come together and could seek the truth together and seek fellowship together. We didn't want to be a ministry of numbers. We didn't want to be a ministry of growing the Episcopal Church. We didn't want to be a ministry of converting people. We wanted to be a ministry of presence. We wanted to be present the same way God is present. We didn't want to go out to people so much as make it public that we welcomed everyone and you can come to us and you will have a place with us and you will have a place at our table. One of my friends who's a Lumbee Indian began coming to services with us. He was raised in the holiness tradition. And he told me that the Eucharist was one of the most beautiful things he'd ever seen in his life. And he said, before I met you guys, I never knew that I could be gay and be a Christian. I have been out of the church for 8 years. And you've shown me welcome. What we're doing at UNC-Pembroke is a student-led ministry, and it's a ministry of building the presence and building the kingdom of God. We don't go out saying we are the inclusive group. We make that clear through our actions. People don't want to be included in some kind of privileged club. They want to be co-workers in building the kingdom of God. In that, we sponsored a Darwin Day event with the Secular Student Alliance. We met together with TED Talks and pizza. We invited a Lutheran minister to come out with us, a guy in a collar, sitting there while we were talking about the evolutionary origins of spirituality, and not getting into a debate, but having a conversation and sharing food, sharing pizza, sharing soda. In a way, a kind of secular Eucharist, because it built conversation and it built dialogue. We went out and marched in our tiny, tiny gay pride parade on campus. Christians for marriage equality. And in doing that, we have scared and upset a lot of people. But this is the ministry that all of us are being called to do. It's not about doing the traditional model of trying to grow the church. It's not the traditional, half of these people will never be Episcopalians and Lutherans. Most of our members are either Lumbee Indians from these Pentecostal holiness and evangelical traditions, or they're people who just don't know what they believe or if they want to believe anything. But being a ministry of presence means that you are there, means that you are accessible, and it means that you make clear that you are there for everybody. And this effort has been student-led, and now it has brought the attention of the church because it began from this small, tiny seed, that mustard seed, that when full grown becomes the greatest of the trees in the garden where all the birds can take up their rest. Because that is what the church is supposed to be. It's about to be radical hospitality. And that's what we're trying to do at Pembroke. Unless the builder make the house, we build in vain. In vain is your early rising. In vain is your going later to rest. Campus ministry is supposed to be about grace and accessibility and love and presence. And that's what we're trying to do at Pembroke, and that's what we hope to do. So thank you for letting me talk a little bit about what's happening in rural southeastern North Carolina. I'm excited to be here, and I thank Mike Angel so much for the invitation and for everyone who's facilitated this event. And I'm accessible if anyone's curious about what we're doing to talk about throughout the next couple days, I guess, we have left. So thank you so much.